How's it going, Pirates? I'm just here with a quick update on the Iron Man jet that I said I was going to connect to the Conquest X30. So the first thing I did was I cut off the two smaller thrusters that were here. So these have now been cut off, not perfectly cut, but I'm not too worried about that, as I'm going to most likely grind these down so that they're flush with the engine so I can use them in other places. And then so now I sanded it down. This side was a better cut because I actually had my jewel saw, so I was able to get a nice flush cut. Unfortunately, the blade on that, or I guess the cord on that broke, so I had to cut this with a more dull saw. And as you can see, the cut wasn't quite as clean as on this side. But that's not a big deal because you're most likely not going to be seeing these. Plus, I can always putty this to make it flush. So now that part has been done. So the second step of that was to see whether or not this would actually fit into the Conquest X30, which of course I did some work with this as well. So there were some tabs that were sticking out here and here. So then I sanded those down with my Dremel so that way they're a little bit more flush. And so now this can kind of slide into position here, and we're getting closer to what I want. However, there's still some work to be done. I'm doing it slowly but surely so that way I don't cut too much of the pieces. So what I need to do now is do some work down on this section here. So I'm gonna probably have to cut some of this off. I just have to measure to see where the wings are exactly, so that way I know exactly how much to cut off so that I can get this to sit more inside there. Now, the other thing I was planning on doing is heating up this plastic on either of the wings so that I can kind of bend them up so that way they can sit above these inverted wings here. So that way these engines would be sitting like on top of this, but I need to heat it up so that that can go above the wings. And then I also need to cut some of this off so that this can sit a little bit more flush with the base of the Conquest X30, and then this could slide in a little bit further. So yeah, it's still a work in progress, still plugging along, having fun with this. At first I was a little bit nervous about cutting these off, but like always, I can always just use those thrusters on other projects, like use this on another jet project. Also, these ailerons can come off, so I can use those elsewhere as well. But yeah, I'm liking where this is going. I think it's going to work out. I just got to be patient and just cut a little bit at a time as I try to piece it together and get it to fit a little bit more flush in there. The other thing too is I kind of want this back seat to be able to sit in here. So if I can get this as deep as I can so that the back seat's actually underneath this section here, I can then put an R2 astromech droid in there. So that way this is like a true Star Wars type fighter. I still have the bottom wings here. I have to find them, but they actually sit inside there. So the only thing that I'd be taking out from the X30, I do have the inner part that goes under here where you would see the engines, and then I believe you'd see some like engine parts inside there. I do have that part, but I'm most likely not going to use it as this is going to be sitting well inside here. I would still need something for here, but I think I still have the cover, so I might just glue that cover in place and then glue. And if I don't put the astromech, I can always glue the cover that goes here. I can glue that into place as well, so that way it's nice and flush and looks all neat. The engine still fit on there. Again, it's just a matter of slow cutting and then fitting these pieces here and there, and this is going to come along nicely. Also, this week in Creators Corner, we have Toy Domination. Oh yeah, he's back on the channel. Can't wait to talk about some of the projects he's got going on in his toy room, as well as his awesome videos that he's been putting together in regards to the game that he's created with Joe called Actionverse. So yeah, we're going to talk all about that kind of stuff, and maybe we'll even talk about playing cards. Yeah, no, that's not going to happen. But yeah, definitely join us live this week on WIP Wednesday live at 7 p.m. Eastern. And if you can't join us live, there's always the replay. But if you have time, go and check out Toy Domination's previous live stream. They had my awesome co-host, Abbinormally, and they picked her brain about her awesome custom. So definitely go and check out that video. The link to their channel is in the description. So yeah, definitely join us this week for WIP Wednesday Live as we talk to Dom from Toy Domination. It's going to be a whole lot of fun, so I hope to see you guys there. Well, until then, take care, pirates.